Hi there. Welcome to the 2021 Homestyles Home and Renovation Show, the virtual edition. My name is Jessica Bonish, and I am the Director of Marketing and Major Projects with the Saskatoon and Region Home Builders Association. And it is my pleasure today to welcome you to the Star Phoenix virtual main stage. All month long, we have been bringing you live experts right to the comfort of your home to teach you about all the tips and tricks in home and renovation. Now, we have a bonus presentation today. Normally we present on Saturdays, but by popular demand, we are bringing back our resident expert, Natasha from Home Free Organizing Solutions. So a couple weeks ago, she tackled renovation-related questions around organization, and today she's going to be tackling your specific problems and matching them up with organizing solutions. So this is a live session, so she's going to be presenting up here live. We've got a lot of photos that she's going to be tackling right from your homes and giving her tips and tricks. And we're going to be following it up with a live question and answer period at the end. So if you're watching along and you have any questions that come up, just pop your questions into the YouTube chat down below, and we will try to get to them at the end of the presentation. Now, before I pass the stage over to Natasha, I do want to assure you that we are following proper COVID protocol here on our virtual main stage. Distancing, hand washing, our entire crew is masked, and of course, we encourage you to do the same at home. All right, without further ado, I'm going to pass the stage along to Natasha.
Well, thanks so much for having me back again. I'm happy to be the resident professional organizer. So today I'm really excited because we're going to be talking about your problems within your home. So this is actually what I do on a daily basis, going into people's homes and doing organization consultations. Typically we go into the space and I ask a lot of questions to determine what's going to work best for that homeowner. So we're going to get started. I think we have about 4 different homes to look at today. So our first one, okay, so this situation, it's reclaiming the master bedroom. So in this situation, the parents are going to be moving back up into the original master bedroom. They had given it to the children for a number of years, and now the kids are old enough to move into the basement. So this is kind of where they're at with the bedroom. And so my suggestions in this space, so this is a 10 by 13 foot space. As you can see here, it might be hard for you to see, but the window has 2 angled walls kind of coming in. So that's why their dresser is kind of limited to, the size that it is. That is the only thing that I would suggest to keep within this room. They have a large mirror there, which you can kind of see. I think these are just the leftovers from the kids' room, but I'm just suggesting to take everything out except that dresser. And let's go to the next slide here. Okay, this is a better view of what's all in there. So my suggestion is to get a bed that has integrated drawers into the base of it, because there's going to be 2 adults moving into the space. We want lots of storage for clothing and shoes and that kind of thing. So I suggest keeping the dresser there and then getting a queen size bed that would go kind of right where this mirror is. So the head of the bed would go here. There would be drawers underneath the mattress to just to get as much storage as possible. And then there'd be an integrated bedside tables on the headboard. So the next slide is going to show you exactly what I'm talking about. There we go. This bed has drawers on the bottom side of it, and the bedside tables are quite small. However, that's going to reduce the amount of clutter that's coming into your bedroom. And there's also these little kind of pockets here that you can put different things in, like books, for example, maybe an iPad. So the bedside table will hold, glass of water, your book, your phone, and maybe a couple of other things, but that's going to reduce that clutter. And also it's important to have a bedside table like this because you need access to those drawers underneath. So you need something that is floating off of the wall when you have drawers underneath your bed. One more thing in this image is to get sconces that are going to go on the wall for bedside reading. The bedside tables don't have enough space for lamps, regular size lamps, so that's a really important component as well. Okay, this is just a better view of that bed with the drawers underneath. It kind of shows you how those little pockets slide into the headboard slats. So I think this is a really good option for that space. It's a small bedroom, and I always encourage people to incorporate storage under the bed, even if they're doing like the bins that you pull out, but just really making use of all of that space that's usually underutilized. So this is just an alternative look. This bed also has drawers underneath and the floating bedside table. And what I like about this, I mean, I love the big windows, but it's just a really minimal space, and it's nice to keep your master bedroom clutter-free because when you're going to bed at night, you want a nice, serene space to sleep. So that's why I really like this option as well. Okay, so now we're looking at the other side of the bedroom. This is the closet they have in their room. So I guess it's about 6 feet long. And right now, as you can see, this is typically how closets were built with the rod kind of at your eye level. However, if you move that rod up to about 80 inches off of the floor, and then you put a second rod 43 inches off the floor, I measured my closet to get these numbers right. That ensures that men's shirts can be hanging on the bottom and it won't be, dragging on the floor. But that's going to double the amount of hanging space that you have within your closet. And then also on top of that 80-inch rod, you could put a shelf. I don't know how high that closet is, but you can probably access it to put out-of-season items, scarves, toques, shorts for the summer season. So anything that's out of season could be tucked up there. So this is just an example of what the double rods look like. It's making use of all the space within the closet, and I really like to make use of every little inch, especially when you're in a little house or you have a limited storage space for clothing. Okay, so we're on to our second example here. So this is a dining room right off of a kitchen that is in need of storage. So it's a small little kitchen space, and they have one item here that is holding some kind of special items that are serving dishes. I'll just highlight that right here. So it's just down here. It's a little kind of buffet. It's a really short little one. So my suggestion in this space, the homeowners wanted to keep it light and airy because the whole space is like, they have a very large window. We'll see in the next one. The window's here. It's really nice and bright and airy. And so they wanted to maintain that feeling and not, they call themselves minimalists. So they don't want to bring in too much visual clutter. So my suggestion for this space is to incorporate two cabinets that are 3 feet long. So they would go on this wall here. This is a mirror right here. And then right over here as well. So they would be facing each other, these two identical cabinets. The ones that I'm suggesting, I'll show you in the next slide. So they're white. They have some glass, which kind of incorporates that airy feel. However, you do need to maintain the look of it. So maintain, just keeping it pretty by not cluttering it up. And then in that case, which this is a piece that they're not tied to down here, this little, it looks like a bench. It's some sort of storage piece of furniture, and that could be brought out of the space if they have these two pieces, which I will show you in the next slide here. Okay, so this is an example. This would fit in perfectly because that one wall with the mirror is actually 3 feet long, and that's exactly what this is. So it would tuck in really nicely. It's the same color of their cabinets, so it would just seamlessly fit into the space. And then again, the glass will just keep it kind of airy looking. I really love that there's drawers on it, so you can kind of stack things in there. That doesn't always have to look perfect, but you have that option of stacking, serving dishes or casserole dishes or anything like that. And this unit is actually 14 inches deep, so it wouldn't stick out too much either. Actually, I'll just show you in their last, you can see here this, this part of their countertop juts out of it, and it's about 12 inches out. So that would come about 2 inches out past that. And so this is just another view of the same piece. So having those two cabinets facing each other will bring balance to the space. And something that they could do is they could even bring some of their items from their kitchen cabinets into these cabinets. For example, wine glasses, anything that isn't used on a regular basis, and free up some of the space from their kitchen cabinets. So then they could have space for more pantry items, for example, because they do have limited cabinetry within the kitchen. And so I was kind of inspired with those cabinets by the house actually that it's in is built in 1912. And often when you go into these older homes, in their dining rooms, which are typically like, specific rooms for dining, they had those built-in china cabinets. And so that's kind of what made me think of that, kind of making it look like something that's meant to be there. So these are just some examples of, where I got that inspiration from. Okay, so this is our third space in the house. And I have some explaining to do about it. So in the next slide, I believe there's a layout. It's kind of a unique space in an older home as well. It's kind of in the eaves of the home because you can see the wall is angled here. That wall is only about 4 feet high. So currently, if we're pretending we're in this picture or we're looking into this space, right now we're in a current office space. And then there's a large storage area and clothing closet off of that room that's used just for storing items. However, the homeowner would like to change it into a guest room and a nursery for when family is visiting. So the challenge is to create this space, kind of take away this part of the storage area to create a nursery. So now we're inside of the room, and we did see, I'll show you in this last example, there's that desk there, and we didn't see, but there is a window right there, which we now see. So I think this is a really cute little space for a nursery, actually. The storage space being converted or part of it into a nursery. There is a window there, so it is technically like a room, and it wouldn't feel too dark and scary for a little one. So I would really love to see this space right here to be converted. So I just wanted to show you this layout. So it's kind of a large square area here, and then it goes into a long, narrow storage area. So what I am suggesting is this space here kind of be the little nursery with the window, and then this to continue being storage, because they do still need that storage area. So there's a desk here already, and I think that this could be used as like a change table and storage for the baby's items. Obviously, it's a storage area right now, and it's probably been a dumping ground for many years. So the homeowner would have to go in there and kind of sort through things. I see papers, and I know there's a file cabinet in here too. So maybe the papers could be reallocated there after it was sorted through. And there looks like there's some photography boxes. I bet you those are just empty boxes right there. I love finding empty boxes in people's homes because that's just easy. Like, let's get rid of that right away. So obviously, you know, things would have to be sorted through before it would become a nursery, but that would be a fun part because they're turning into something really new and exciting. So this is where I would say to put the crib. So nearby the window, not right in front. So along this wall, which is kind of a shorter wall, and then this desk could be pulled a little bit closer towards the door to make room kind of for a little work zone, or, you know, when you're putting the baby in the crib, and then you can take them over to the change table in the nursery. I know, being a parent of young children, that whenever I can have, when you're visiting someone and there's like an extra room for the child, I loved that because we are used to sleeping in separate rooms. So I know this would be like great for a child that's used to doing that. Okay, so then again, this is the layout of that space. So you can see here, there's a closet that's coming off the bedroom for clothing. And then this area I'd like to use for storage, and then this will be the nursery space. So this is looking down that long, narrow spot for, that's going to be the storage. Again, we're going to have to sort through these items. Like there's some artwork there that's sitting around. So if art is sitting around, I often say to people, like, do you still love this? Then it should be hanging on your wall. If not, maybe pass it on to someone else. It could be keepsakes, and then if it is, it should be stored a little bit better than that, because if, you know, water ever leaks into that area, it's going to become damaged. So that's my suggestion for that. All those clothes hanging there, ideally those would move into the clothing closet that's just kind of right around the corner after it's sorted through. I don't know if this is like an out of season storing area, or, you know, if they just take things up here when they're done with it. And there's the file cabinet there that could be sorted through. So I think just doing a big sort and then getting some Rubbermaid bins that are cohesive, they're all the same, and then storing things in there would be ideal, just to clean up that space so it can act as a storage space and as the nursery when the guests are there. Okay, so we're on to our final space. This is a family room that's needing storage. So the overall theme today is storage. So all of these examples, people have needed different types of storage incorporated into their homes, and this situation is no different. So the family uses this room to hang out, to read, maybe play some games. There's no TV and there's no excess children's items here, and they kind of want to keep it that way, but they do want some more storage. I can see, you know, this table here has a few items on it that maybe they'd want to store somewhere else. There's lots of books, there's pictures. So my suggestion here is, when I look at this space, I see this beautiful big recessed window and that big wall. And so what I would like to do in a perfect world would be to create bookcases that would go on this entire wall surrounding the window. So there would be one there and one here. So it'd be bookcases with cabinets or drawers underneath on the bottom side. So this would provide a lot of storage for books, games, photos, you know, even things that they have in other places of their house where they're not sure it should be. There would be a lot of extra storage here for that if you did two walls of it, and it balances out the space too when you do it on both sides. So the bookshelves would be about 12 inches deep here, and this gives you an example of what I'm talking about. So it looks really nice. I know their walls are different sizes, but I would use the whole space on each side of the wall. And then you have that closing cabinetry too, which is great for hiding away things that maybe aren't so pretty, but still need a home. This is just a view from the other side of the living room. Now the homeowners had mentioned that they really like their couch being there in that window. So that just tells me they really like kind of spending time in the sunny area there. But I have a bit of a suggestion for them. To take it like one step further on getting more seating space and more storage in this space. So what I suggest is to move this couch to this wall here, and maybe, I'm not sure what that little table is back there with the plant on it. It might just be holding plants, but we'd have to shift that out of there. And what I would like to see here is to create a window seat. So with those bookshelves built out 12 inches, and then that being a recessed window, it would be a really nice deep window seat. And so here, they wouldn't be able to have a back on it because their windows come down pretty far, but they could have lots of cozy pillows there, and it would be a really nice spot for, you know, family to hang out there. And you could also incorporate drawers underneath the seat. So that would be even more storage space. So that's all I have today. It's time for questions.
All right, thanks so much for tackling all those specific problems, Natasha.
Yeah.
So we have lots of questions for you today. So we're going to try to get through all of them. If we don't, we apologize, but keep them coming. There's lots of great ones here. Just as a quick starter, I'm going to ask a question.
Okay.
I'm going to put you in the hot seat as an organizer. So do you have a junk drawer or a junk room in your house?
Well, I don't have a junk room.
Okay, junk. I'm guilty of that. Like when you said the dumping grounds, I was like, I can sympathize. Yes, I recognize that.
Yes, we definitely have a junk drawer. It's somewhat organized. I have, you know, little containers for like markers and pencils and pens, but not everybody in my house puts them back where they should go.
That's right.
So, but yes, we do definitely. I think every house needs one for sure.
Yeah.
At least one.
Just somewhere to, just get rid of it,
because
close
there's
the door.
lots of random things, and you can't, you know, you can't have a home for each of those random things, so you need one kind of random drawer.
Random drawer. Okay,
sure.
that's good. For all of you people that have the random junk drawer or the junk room, maybe not the junk room though, just the junk drawer.
Not.
Okay, I'll work on that this weekend. All right, let's get to some audience questions here. So Nicole asks, we are finishing our basement in our new build, and we need some ideas for storage solutions that are a must. We will have a wall of built-ins that will have storage space for things like wrapping paper, books, kids' toys. We will also have a basement bar that I'd love some advice on.
Oh, the basement bar.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, that's kind of a thing that's coming back, I think. Yeah, I mean, I think definitely keeping all of your liquor in one place in your home, ideally. So just having everything down there, whatever glasses you're going to be using. And ideally you'd have a wet sink, so a wet bar there,
that would be
so
nice.
Somewhere where you can clean those things as well. And try not to put things there that don't make sense. Like I like to put like things together, so keep it only to bar related items. So don't shove in, you know, like the hand vacuum and all those random things. So just keep it to bar related items.
I love that. All right, Christine asks, I have been in my house for over 20 years and don't think I've thrown anything out. I really need to declutter, but it's so overwhelming. I think we can all relate with that, right?
Yeah.
The overwhelming part. Where do I start, and what is the best way to get through my house to declutter?
Yeah, I mean, everybody who contacts me is overwhelmed, so that she's not alone in that, that's for sure. I would say to her to focus on some place that would be easy for her to start, because then she could, you know, gain her confidence and build her momentum from there. So possibly, you know, a storage area in the basement where things kind of, she puts things, or maybe it's like a spare room where she's putting items that she might not want anymore, or, you know, if she has that closet full of empty boxes I mentioned earlier, that is like the easiest thing. You know, I was at a client's house and we came to the bottom of the stairs and there was just a stack of empty boxes. And I'm like, are these all empty? And they're like, yeah. I'm like, yeah, let's get rid of them. So,
but as adults, we can't throw away boxes. We might need to use them.
I know, but I mean, that's just like the low-hanging fruit, you know, to start with. So I would suggest just starting somewhere really that she knows would be easy. And then just set aside time. Like I work in 3-hour segments typically, like minimum. And I find that's the magic time to get things done and not be in the middle of the mess, because you make a mess before it kind of all goes back.
Before it all comes together.
So, I mean, if she can commit 3 hours to one space,
That's a good advice. So that's a nice Sunday afternoon, right? Set aside some time. There's still time for an afternoon nap, and you know, like you said, make some momentum and see that progress. Because I think that's the thing. You just look at this big mess, and it's just, where do you even start? So set aside some time and start on the tasks. Okay, we have a question from Jessica, and it's not from me, it's another Jessica. My kitchen cabinets do not go all the way up to the ceiling, so there is a lot of dead space. What can I put up there that doesn't create clutter or look messy but still uses the space?
Right. It all depends on what their kind of comfort level is. You know, some people have a small space where they really need to use that for storing, you know, maybe appliances that they don't use on a regular basis, like a waffle iron or something like that. But for me, like, I wouldn't want to see that up there. So ideally, I wouldn't put anything up there. If you have a secondary kind of pantry space that you could put things like that, that's where I would move it. Because if it's way up there, it's not a place where you're going to be using it regularly. So it really depends on, like, if you're okay with seeing things up there or not. And if you are, then totally use it.
Yeah, every space, you know, just a little nook to put things in. That's great. Okay. Let's go to this one here. So do you have any general rules when sorting through clothes? Obviously, we're in a transitional season right now, going from winter to spring. We're all looking to get out our shorts and tank tops and things like that. So what kind of general rules when sorting clothes?
For sure. So when I do it in my closet, I look at each piece. I don't hold it and see if I still love it. But I can determine, you know, when is the last time I wore this? Like, how often do I wear it? I mean, there's things that, like, for example, that I bought a year ago that I haven't worn yet because of COVID. So, you know, determine if it fits you. If it doesn't, I would say, think about letting it go. If it's damaged at all, like if you intend to get it fixed, lots of people don't follow through with that. But yeah, I would certainly say, like, if it fits, if it's damaged, if you still like it, like, these are all things that you got to think about when you look at each item. And then some things are just practical, you know, like you might not love the look of those sweatpants, but they're super comfortable and you wear them on a regular basis. So, but I mean, bringing all your like things together helps. So, you know, if you have, you know, 30 pairs of yoga pants, put them all out in your bed and see if they fit and if you still like them. But putting them all in one place will really bring it into perspective to determine if you actually need all of that.
All of those items, So would you recommend kind of, you know, if you've got different, like for myself, you know, some workout clothes, and then professional clothes, kind of separating that out then? So it's sort of like whatever your different roles are, or maybe your mom clothes or whatever it is that you know that you're kind of...
Yeah, within your closet, I would definitely have zones for that. Like I have, you know, I put all my because I have more casual clothes because a lot of my work is kind of dirty. So I have, you know, like tank tops in one area, t-shirts in one area, button ups, and then my more professional, when I'm doing things like this, that has a zone as well. And then kind of breaking it up within that. So all the pants go together and so that's how you can break up your closet.
And you're talking too about closets. So do you prefer closets or drawers, or is there any, just whatever works for the garment?
Yeah, I think for me, I like to hang a lot of things, like any tops besides, like, you know, exercise things. I like to hang. It's easier than folding. And it just depends on how much closet space you have too. But yeah, like jeans, I fold, sweatpants, big sweaters. But yeah, I certainly like to hang more than not, for sure.
Great advice. Okay, how do I manage kids' clothing? So it kind of ties in, but the kids' clothing. How often should I sort through items?
Yeah, I mean, when your kids are really young, like up to 2, those first 2 years, it's incredible the amount of sizes of clothing children go through. So if they're really young, when my kids were really young, I had bins. So like it would be like 1 to 6 months, and then within those bins, I'd have different bags. So this is like the 3 to 6 month. This is the 6 month. This is the 6 to 12 months. So that's how I manage that. And again, like with adult clothes in the fall and spring, it's a good time to go through them. So if your kids are older and they're wearing their clothing for a little bit longer, I would suggest, again, going through during spring and fall, because I like to keep my kids' clothes from the summer till the next year and then determine at that time if it's going to fit them or not, because they might still fit into it. But I would say twice a year you should definitely be sorting through that.
Do the haul.
And yeah, you should have dedicated bins for each child in the house.
Bins are just easier because the clothes are smaller, so you'd kind of have them in
Yeah,
the
like
bins
if
rather
you're-
than hanging them, or
Well, for example, like if you're storing them for out of season, or if they're like larger, but you're
gotcha.
waiting for them to grow into it.
Yeah.
Instead of having it integrated into their current closet, because
Yeah,
then
it's
things
all-
really get mixed up. Yeah.
Yeah, well, that's great advice. Perfect. Okay, so right now we have a question from Kelsey, and Kelsey is actually doing a takeover on our Instagram page right now. So if you're not following us on Instagram, you should be. And Kelsey is a local content creator, and she actually worked with you. She had you enter her home to organize. They just recently moved, doing a home reno, so I think you organized her kitchen or something. Oh, perfect. You can catch that on our Instagram. She's sharing that. But she has a question for you, not in relation to the kitchen. So she says, I'm dreading organizing our garage this spring. We recently moved into a new home with a 3-car garage, and it has become a dumping ground. It's a disaster. I can sympathize, Kelsey. Any tips on tackling organizing a large garage?
Well, yeah, I mean, they're in the middle of a renovation too, so they probably have, you know, some of those items left over.
Random flooring pieces and all those,
So there are some great places in the city to donate anything that's excess that you know that you won't need in the future. So I would definitely have them come in. They even come and pick it up too, like the Restore, for example.
Yes, Restore is one of our exhibitors in the home show.
Exactly. And then, so for the garage, again, like with the seasons, fall and spring are good times to get in there. I say twice a year you need to go into your garage and get things organized, because I know over the winter things just kind of get dumped and left, because you don't want to, especially if it's not heated, you don't want to spend any amount of time in there. So it's a good time soon for her and her husband to get out there.
I think she's hinting that she wants you back. I think she's already said that during the takeover that she wants you. So be prepared for her garage.
Yeah. So because I think garages are good places for couples to work
together.
But installing things to hang up bikes out of season, or any out of season items, getting heavy duty shelving in is a really good idea too. And then combining like items again. So they have young children, so they probably have, lots of toys, maybe sand toys, balls and things like that. So they could have some type of open bin system that can kind of rotate out in the season. So having it lower down so the kids could go in there and grab what they want. And it's a 3-car garage, so they could park their vehicles in there, but then also have like a parking area for their bikes, for example, and they could get bike stands set up, so when they go out for a family bike ride, they could just come in and park their bikes right in the space that they needed, and kind of have like a parking area for all the things, because they might have more than just bikes. There's probably scooters and strollers,
and wagons.
So you kind of create that space that's seasonal, especially in the summer months, because there's so many things that kind of get pulled out. And then making use of anything, if they have tall ceilings, there's some great racks that you can install.
We have one of those in our home. I was going to say, it's wonderful. And it's a little crank arm that goes up and it lifts everything up, and it's perfect.
Yeah, and some people build them themselves, like just kind of high up storage for seasonal decorations and things like that.
Nothing too heavy is up there, but it's just, at least it's up off the ground, and the garage door still works fine. And
so there's lots of options for garage, but Kelsey, just give me a call.
Oh yeah, Kelly. you know her number. Give her a call. Awesome. Oh, another one just popped up for Kelsey. Who are some of your favorite clients you've worked with? Winky face. Not to name names, but
I mean, Kelsey was great, but I don't usually say who I work with.
You can't pick a favorite.
No, I work with seniors and young moms, and I really love the variety of people that I work with. So I've had some long-term clients that I get to know everything about them. When I'm working with a senior who's downsizing, I see everything and I hear everything, about this tablecloth, for example. So I feel like I really get to know them, and that's like the part of my job that I really love.
But I think that that's so great too. Just like, let's say, if you hire somebody to come clean your home or whatever, it's okay to ask for help. If there's areas that you're struggling with, and not everybody's an organizing wizard like you are, right? So it's like, hire the professional, get their opinion. And also too, you probably help them, like you said, is this tablecloth sentimental? Okay, maybe we keep it. But is this shoebox sentimental?
Right.
Maybe we get rid of that, right? Yeah. So it's nice to have somebody like yourself come in that's a professional and can kind of see, with a nice
past all of that.
Yeah, exactly. So, all right. Okay, let's do a couple more here. Oh, this is a good one. I think that probably every parent can relate to this one. It just says, "Help! I'm drowning in Lego."
Yeah, that's funny. I was just working with a client the other day, and they have an enormous amount of Lego. And actually, they had a really great system put in place when their kids were younger. They're actually moving, but they had like this IKEA. It was like a wardrobe system, and there was these pull-out drawers, and there was lids that go on them too, so the kids could just take out a drawer at a time and then go and play. With that, I think, if your kid loves Lego and you guys have lots of Lego, low bins are really important. And, people are building Lego tables. Like, you get the whole top with the Lego, and then like having the pull-out drawers. I've seen people organize Lego into the rainbow of colors. Yeah. And I just laugh because as soon as their kids are going to play with it, it's done. And you spent so many hours organizing that. Yeah. So, I think having a dedicated space for the kids to play is really great. A special table, and then having all the Lego nearby in maybe low bins where they can see most of it.
Yeah, like the shallow kind of bins.
Yeah. Or kind of dig through it. But, I think it's just a phase. And they just have to live with it.
And then the parents, you just gingerly walk with your bare feet in fear every single day. Yeah, be careful. All right, we have about 4 minutes left here, so we're gonna go through a couple more here. Should one item go out for every new item that comes in?
No. Okay. I don't think so.
Okay.
There's many reasons for that. I think that was a rule of thumb for some organizers, in the past for closets. And I don't think that's necessary, except when things, my big rule of thumb is to have a home for everything. So as long as that thing can have a home and it goes back there after you're done using it, then I think it's okay. But if things are piling up all over, then you got to start getting rid of a few things.
I like your philosophy. It doesn't seem like I know we've all heard that rule, right? And then it feels so, if you're breaking it, you feel kind of bad or ashamed. And so I like more flexible. It's obviously you're working with your clients' needs and what they need. So, all right. Was there one that we had a picture for that we're going to put up? Nope. Okay, sounds good. We didn't have a picture for that one. Okay, so we're going to do one more here. This kind of ties in with the one that was the family room one. I have a huge selection of books, but I don't know what to do with all of them.
Yeah, that's a tricky thing for people. Books and pictures are hard for people to let go of. So depending on the home, like if it's a home with kids and they have children's books, I like to keep the kids' books in their bedrooms, like their specific books myself. It all depends on what you have in place. So if you don't have a bookshelf, then you definitely need one if you like to keep and collect books. Yeah. So you just have to find the area in your home that would best suit that. But if you are willing to get rid of books, again, there's lots of great organizations that have book sales in Saskatoon that have yearly book sales. I don't know what's happening right now, but I know that some of them are still collecting books. So if you are ready to go through them, there's people, I've worked with clients who have used the Dewey Decimal System and they have all their books organized that way. I was very impressed
That's
by
very
that.
impressive.
And they were book people, that's for sure.
Yes.
So, so there's lots of different ways to organize them, but I think, if you have children, books can be in their rooms, and then getting great bookshelves.
Yep.
Are important.
Makes sense, right? Bookshelves are for
Yeah.
books, and so awesome. Okay, one more quick question from me to finish off.
Okay.
So let's just say, this is hypothetical, but let's say you're an organized person and your spouse is not.
Yeah.
So this was probably the one you hear a lot. But what do you do? What do you do? You just keep organizing for them, or do you just hope for the best, or what? Just asking hypothetically.
Yeah, that's tricky because I mean, often, you know, unless you live on your own, there's things that you have to give up or just like accept.
Yeah.
But over time, you hope that somebody will, you know, abide by your organizing.
And I guess if it's really laid out nicely, right? Like you've done in your clients' homes, right? It's easier for everybody then to organize it. There is a dedicated place for things, and then hopefully they can go back to their home and everybody in the house, even kids, right? You know, it's you know, maybe it's a little harder with smaller children, but if they know that that's where certain things go,
I mean,
then
that is the goal for sure, is everything to have a home and for it to go back. And so, like if there's two of you and one is really struggling with that, I think you've got to maybe talk to them and see what makes sense to them, because it might make sense to you to put this item, but it might not to them. I think maybe having that conversation would clear it up, because often, you know, people don't know what you're thinking. Your spouse doesn't know what's going on in your brain, and you also don't know what's going on in their brain. So I feel like if you had that conversation, because if there's like a couple things that are really bugging you, but if it's like, you know, the dirty clothes are beside the laundry basket all the time, he should probably figure that one out.
This is a hypothetical question. I didn't say, or that's when you bring in an expert, right? That's when you can call Natasha and get her to come in and whip us into shape.
Exactly.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much, Natasha. That's all the time we have for today. But we really do appreciate you coming back for the second time and sharing all of your organizing tips and tricks. And you can follow Natasha on Instagram at Home Free Organizing Solutions. Yep. Correct? Awesome. You can follow her there and learn along with us all here as well. So that's all we have for today. We do have another live session coming up next weekend with our CEO, Chris Garrett. She's going to be bringing us all the tips and tricks on how to hire a professional renovator. So you won't want to miss out on that next Saturday, March 27th at 1 p.m. You can tune in again on homestylesonline.com. And in the meantime, make sure that you are exploring all of the exhibitors' virtual booths. We've got the best in home and renovation right on our website. You can check out all of their pictures, their videos, their company information. Lots of the exhibitors too are hosting different specials for the show and sales, as well as before you start to explore, make sure you sign up for the Homestyles Passport. So it is a contest. You can get points and stamps for exploring the booths, attending live sessions, and we are doing weekly prize draws as well as a grand prize draw as well. So check that out. And we'd also love to thank our sponsors for today, the Star Phoenix for sponsoring the virtual main stage, and North Prairie Developments for sponsoring this amazing set that we have here. So until next weekend, stay safe, have a wonderful Sunday, and we'll see you all back on the virtual main stage next weekend. Thanks, Natasha.
Thank you.